First thing we do is just cut out the parts we need, and then we glue them onto 1mm card here, put a heavy weight on them, leave them at least 24 hours. I only done this 12, so it's a little bit on the bent side, if you can see what I mean. So, but that doesn't matter, because once we stuck it on here, you can see this is one I done yesterday. It's still a little bit curved on it. Here's the other one I done yesterday. I done both sides. It's absolutely straight now. So don't worry about if it does curl up on you a little bit. When you put the second wrap over the other side, it will pull it all straight. Usually. So now we're going to do these ones. Cutting out. There is a technique for cutting out, and I'll just about to show you that. I have a steel wool. Right. Yes, I'm using steel wool. As I said in my tool section, steel wools are the best things to use. If you try to use aluminium, the knife can actually cut the aluminium, and you get little notches on it, so when you go down you don't get a straight edge. So use a steel wool and cut it. Don't cut it like this. Don't cut it like this or like this. That's exaggerated, but try and keep it upright as possible. If anything, come out a bit that way. Never undercut. Undercut is bad. You can't really fix it unless you put a load of filler in the edge and then sand that down. But if you do, if you do sort of a pyramid shape on the first one, at least you can put a sanding block on there and sand it down square. So I'm just going to cut this piece of card off here. Now you'll notice that because this is 1mm card, I'm going to cut through it on several points. Watch that. Nice cleanly cut through. Right, I'm just going to separate these pieces. Now I've had a message from, I'll put his name up, sorry I've forgotten your name, on here. He's one of my subscribers, and he's given us the track dimensions of 32mm. If you want to run the trains, I can show you how to run the trains on a track using a battery, a little electric motor and a radio control gear. I'll do that in a separate video for you. But let's get on with building this. Right, I'll do the small one so you can see it. We'll put those to one side because there's these ones here. Actually, I'll just separate these because I've got to do these as well. Don't rush it. You know, if you have to cut through 6 or 7 times, it doesn't matter. You know, take your time. I'm just going to get my glasses on. Okay, right. We've got a waste piece here we've got to cut out. Leave that in for now. Because I've already cut it out on this piece here. This piece isn't shown. This piece is. This is the top of the foot plate, which people will see. So I've cut the hole in here, and I can once this is glued onto here, I can now use this hole as a guide for my knife to cut through that waste piece here. If there's a little out here, it doesn't matter. Right. put your knife blade just on the outside with the black line there. So when you bring your ruler in, and then pivot it till you just lose that black line. I have to do this several times because I make sure that I've got it in the right place. Too much and you leave a bit of a white line on the colours section. So there we go. Again, I usually keep my knife quite upright, so I don't have a trouble with any sanding off afterwards. I usually just do a quick 1 or 2 passes on the sanding block, but looking at that, that's fine. That's okay. This is the one where you might leave a fraction of a white edge on the black, and you'll have to just go back and just try and take that slight piece off. But with a new blade, or with a nice sharp blade I should say, because what you want to actually do is you want to cut the 2 pieces off. This piece all white, this piece all black. That's how it should be. And if you're very careful enough, like I said, take your time. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Not perfect. Take your time. You don't rush. You don't need to rush with these. You just keep you entertained for a long time. If you just keep, rushing it, you make mistakes. There we can see, you can see that there. That's totally white on there. That's totally black on there. So I know that that has cut that exactly right. And if we look at the edge, I don't know whether you can see that on here, but that edge is actually square. But I usually just give it a 1 or 2 strokes on the sanding board just to take that edge back a little bit more. Such a fraction, you won't notice it, and it just clean that edge right up. Especially if you've got a little bit of wobble on your knife, maybe. Shouldn't have, but if you do wobble on your knife a little bit, can happen. Happens to me a lot actually. At the end here, I've just gone pyramid shape on the end here, very fractionally, just very fractionally, so I'll have to sand that piece down. That's what I mean, it's best to go that way rather than undercutting. I'll keep that bit because I know I need some small 1mm card pieces. Try not to waste too much of the card. You're going to waste some of it, but the majority of the larger pieces you can keep and reuse them on other models, or on this particular model. Like I said, there's a lot of small parts where you can use that card up on. Moved. I think I moved there as well. I did. We can fix it. We can fix it. Good pressure down on the ruler. It doesn't slip like I did. There. Check that because I was a bit over on that one. Nope, that's fine. That's fine. It's a pyramid shape there. So it's actually going off this way and this way on that one. Just check these corners off. Which ones do I want? Right, those two edges are good. So what I'll do, so I now know these two edges are nice and square and flush. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw an arc around here. So I know that's a square end of the card, and that's the two pieces that I'll do when I put the wrap on this side, which is this one here. I'll get it around the right way. Yeah, bump. There we go. So I know got that on the right end there and right end there. Now we'll glue that on there, and we'll just we'll glue that on there, and when it's dry, I'll come back and cut this section out here. We've got two small sections to cut out here as well. Don't know about that section, I'll have to check, but I think that's where the boiler piece fits to hold up the boiler. So we'll just carry on and we'll do the rest of these, and I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to follow the instructions this time. I know I said I was going to do it differently, but I'm going to do it with the instructions. Right, first you need to cut your parts out. Now here we are, base underneath and the top floor. Now they've just been cut out roughly around the outside, so we need to cut these down. So using steel wool, now I'll put my blade just on the edge of the black, so the black line's still there. And we come down here and we just lose the black line very carefully, just lose the back line the other end of the ruler. Now hold the ruler really tight and lightly draw your knife down. Even this thin card, you know, 3 or 4 cuts and it should be separated like that. It's very light. You don't want to press down. Pressing down means that you're forcing it. You could break the tip, you could slip and cut yourself. So you don't want to force the blade. Let the blade do the work. Right, I'll just finish cutting this piece out for you. Right, there we have the floor cut out, ready to go on. Now, next thing we want to do is, in the instructions it actually tells you to glue this to the 1mm card. Well, the way you do that is, I usually get the big glue bottle, give a good old squirt down here over it. You can use a plastic card, a credit card, to spread that over the section you want. And how you know the section is if you put this onto here and pencil here. I'll put this on, so I'll leave a little bit of a gap around the outside. And just draw around this part. Then this is the area that I'll glue. I spread the glue over. Right, it's just a question of popping this down onto here, making sure that you're inside the lines and there's glue around the outside of it. Now, this is another extra tool you can get if you want to. You don't have to. Like I said, credit card, spread the glue on. If you've got another one, a spare one, you know, an old one, or Christmas club card that you don't use anymore, use that to scrape. I haven't got one, unfortunately, to scrape down here from the middle out to each edge like that. So take that off here and really get that to glue down. Then what we do is we get a plastic bag or a piece of polythene, whatever, it doesn't matter, here over the top, and then we put a heavy weight on it, at least overnight. I would give it at least 24 hours. That's why you can do 3 or 4 of these items you need to do on a 1mm card. Put them all on the one card if you can, or 2 cards. What I do, I use these zip tie bags, and I can slide one into the bag here and one underneath the bag, and then put the weight on top and keep them flat till they dry. Once they're dry, let me just pop these out of the way for a second. I even use, for smaller pieces, this is a bag off of my bread rolls. I'll just cut the end off. I can slide the pieces in there, put it down on a heavy book or something. The glue will not stick to your book or the top. You're keeping it on. That's why I put it inside a plastic bag, or plastic bag over the top of it, so the glue doesn't get on the items you're using. Right, let me just move this out of the way. Right, here's it. Here it is. It's been more than 24 hours on here, and it's stuck down and it's fairly flat. It has warped a little bit, but I won't worry about that. When you put your second layer on, it will go back to leaving it flat. Right, we've got to cut this out again. Steel wool, but this time make sure that when you use it, if you go onto the black line, just that side of the black line. So when you cut it, you leave the black line on. Some models require the black line to be on. It depends on the designer. Some like to leave the black lines on. Others say take the black lines off. So I always leave the black lines on, because you can always cut the black line off later if you find the piece is too big. When you cut, make sure it's upright. It's not like this and then not like this. Try and keep it as upright as possible. If anything, I'm cutting this off, this piece here. I'd rather cut that way than that way, because if I cut that way, the bottom of this card, 1mm card, will be smaller, and I'll have a big gap that I have to fill with something, with filler or so. Well, that's why I do it that way. If you go over the other way, you can sand it flat and square, and I'll show you that later. I can't get to my drawer at the moment. Well, I've got my sanding jig. Basically, it's only just a plain piece of wood with a nice straight piece of wood on there that's got a piece of it's got a full length of sheet on it of sandpaper that's cut down. It's only 25mm high, and you can use that to put up against that fence and just rub it backwards and forwards on there, and it will square that edge up for you. Right, let's just get on and cut this. This will take several cuts to get through. Doesn't matter. As I said, it doesn't really matter. way, I think you can see. Can you see that there? I'll come in a bit. Oh, wrong way. Here we go. If I come in on the end of this card here, hang on, which way can I show you? There. You see how square that is? That's what you're looking for on all the pieces. Oh, I've got it. It's nice and square all around the edge. And in that way, you'll know when you fit the card to it, it's going to be absolutely correct. Right, now, once you've cut the card, end of the ruler, the nice smooth side, if you got, or a knife or a spoon. Actually, I'll do it with I've got a coffee spoon here. Just rub the edge down that we've just cut, and you'll see. If you feel it, you've got a little lip there, a burr, where you cut it. If you do that with it, you lose the burr on it. Do that both sides. Like that. There we go. Now that burr's gone, we can get some glue on it. Right. Right, that should be enough there. And the end of the glue bottle off there. Now, sometimes you'll get these magazines in the post. This one's for our local community. I've already read it, but I'll keep these to do this job with. Roller, hang on, it's a bit dusty on your neck, there we go. And we start, I use a roller, get a nice smooth, even spread of glue. Make sure there's no dry spots on it, on the card, because that'll mean that the card won't stick to that. Right, now I've got the glue spread over the card. Oh, it's okay. Put it out of the way so I won't get glue on it. Right, now placing the card on there. This whitewood glue will give you a little bit of slip time as well. Unlike some other glues I've used, the wood glues, they're glued almost instantly. Square up the card one end, then come down, square up the card both ends. There we go. I'll open another page up for this. I normally don't bother, but in this particular case I am. Hold it down, squeeze the glue from the middle to the edge, you can see it coming out down at that end, and then secondly I'll go across the card from the centre out to each edge, just to make sure that that card is really stuck down. Now I'm going to put this in the bag here, although there'll be a few more bits in here before tonight, and I'll have a few pieces ready for the morning to show you. Anyway, from me and Carla, see you all soon. Keep up the modelling. Bye for now.
Take the railway that runs to Birmingham town. 3 hours out of Euston, they let you all get down. 11 minutes is allowed, we have to keep up speed, and the Wolverton refreshment room will answer every need.